Welcome to this week's episode on the Untethered podcast. I'm your host, Abby Rose, the spiritual accountant, and today we're going to be diving into your soul purpose. People want to manifest more money, they have to align to their soul's purpose. You have to. You have to align to your soul's purpose. And I mean that's what we do in the immersion, but can't I do a podcast episode on that? Like who cares? I'll just give it all away for free. Like I just don't even care anymore because even in the creation of that, like when I look at my coaching clients, they're in traditional brick and mortar business and I'm helping them with their metrics and growing their business. It's still sole purpose. Let's say my soul's greatest path, I was still in my soul's purpose. So then I was looking at, well, the people that I speak to and that I love are brick and mortar business. Like the online world, let's face it, I've had enough of it because, it's all of this trash talk online that has literally burnt me out. And when I stick to what I love, and it's helping physical businesses in the real world. So, I mean, it's like people think that soul purpose is this glamorous thing, right? Being on your soul, being a mission soul, being aligned to your soul purpose is like this glamorous thing where you're just in this constant state of flow and ease and grace, and you're sitting on your mountain with your crystals and you're meditating, and it's just magical, and all these fairies are flying around you. So, reality check. That's a spiritual bypass. You've got to find the balance because there are times in business that you are going to enjoy and you are going to love it and it's going to light you up and you'll be like, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. This is so great. This is so great. And then there's reality check. There's going to be hard times because business is hard. And there are times where you are struggling and the bank balance doesn't look healthy, or you're having problems with staff or team, or you're having problems with your front end messaging and you have to like redo the whole thing, or you're having problems with, like there's always something. It's the magic that fuels you. So, like what I saw with these clients today is like when we get bogged down in that mundane and we forget why we even do things. And, a lot of people, they forget about the passion element of business. And whenever I'm, working with people in the not-for-profit space, it's all about passion. It's all about like what lights you up. That's the safety that we sit in. That's the safety that we sit in. Like it's actually real, tangible things that we're creating in the world. Um, and that's why I love soul streams as well. I love sitting down and like getting a glimpse into someone's core essence and then creating something from that, something physical, something tangible. It is an idea because things in our world, things in our reality, you look around, they're always but first a thought. Everything we've created in this world was first a thought. We think it into existence, but then we take that thought and then we like create it in the world. And that's how things happen because we're the co-creator. We're the ones that are co-creating with our soul star, with our soul, with our God, with our universe, with the creator. So it's all about that co-creation. And I think that's why I got so shitty with like the spiritual industry, like manifesting abundance and like putting it outside of yourself. Because when you put it outside of yourself, you're not the creator. When you put it outside of yourself, there's always a reason for things and it ain't you. What if you are the common denominator in everything, like everything that's happening in your existence, in your life, you are the common denominator for that. So, what would that mean? So, your results that you're receiving in your business, it's not because of how many affirmations you've done, it's the work that you're doing. It's what you are doing and it's what you are not doing. And I seen someone, talking about, oh, how would you talk to money? Respect your money. Speak to money like you respect it, and then it will come into your bank account. I want to call bullshit on that as well. I don't talk to money. I talk to my clients. I talk to my community. I build that respect and that relationship with those people because they're the people that put the money in my bank account. So why would I completely bypass those people and talk to money as if it means more to me than what the people do? Let's talk to money like it's your lover, right? And, if you don't talk to money kindly, it's going to go out just as quickly as it comes in because you didn't appreciate it, you didn't value it, you didn't. So when I see that, I look at behavior, right? And it's not that you didn't appreciate or value the money, you didn't appreciate or value yourself. Because if you did, how you spent that money would be different, right? Because it came in, but then you spent it and it went out, right? So in the behavior of spending is like what is driving that behavior? And is it the not enoughness? Is it the unworthiness? Is it the, well, I've got all of these things that I do in the world, but no one's buying any of it. I'm not good enough because no one's buying. That's another thing, right? I've got people, clients in my DMs, and it's like this, the fear, the doubt, and the self-worth always coming up because they're like, no one's buying. And then they're making it mean something about them. And it's like, no, it's actually just business, babe. It's got nothing to do with your worthiness. You're totally worthy. We just need to articulate it better. Or these people that rush in to products and services and then they launch them and they've got absolutely no idea who they're talking to, why they're talking to them, what product they're giving them. They're just like flying by the seat of their pants. Babe, you can't run a business like that. When you fully can articulate who your people are, what the demographic is, what your product and service is, what your delivery and your fulfillment is, the entire journey, start to finish, someone who doesn't know you at all to a total raving fan. Like when you can articulate and know that whole process, when it comes to then front end marketing, you know the intricacies of your business and your products and your services. So there is no other reason. Like it's just like that communication becomes natural and confused people don't buy. So if you don't even know what you're selling and you're confused about what it is and there's no clarity around it, how do you think your market is going to respond to that? They'll be like, oh, one day she's doing this, the next time she's doing that. Oh, now she's launching this. I don't think she even knows. That breaks trust. I think the biggest thing is building trust. And when you
And
chop and change all of the time, you just lose trust. Because what is the chopping and change? What energy is that chopping and changing coming from? It's seeking money, right? So I'm going to go do this to get money, and then that doesn't work. Okay, now I'm going to go and do this to try and get money, and then that doesn't work. And now I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to try and get money. Like all of these decisions you're making in the chopping and changing is because you want money, and you're missing the whole point of it because the sole purpose has got nothing to do with money. Money in your bank account is the byproduct of you being aligned to your sole purpose, the custodian of that, and delivering it for the people. So, how do we articulate that? How do we find out what it is? How do we connect to it? You've got to actually, first, you've got to actually stop the noise. Stop the noise. And the noise will be internal. So the noise will be like, the I'm not good enough, I'm in pain, I'm in struggle, I'm in victim, I'm in this, I'm in that. Like you're in it, you're in the trenches, right? So whenever I'm in the trenches, I stop, right? We're not in an expansive creative process. We're in the trenches. We're excavating some emotional dirt. So chill. Allow yourself to go through that. Give yourself the space. Just find some security in something known, something safe, right? Because soul purpose clarity does not land with noise. Soul purpose, and I think this is what perhaps I can articulate. When I'm working with people, we're creating that space for that clarity. And that fucks with people because they're like, this feels very counterintuitive, but I need to do the next thing. Oh, just tell me what to do. Tell me. And I'm like, do nothing. We've got to listen. Listen. If you want to listen to your soul, you need to be quiet. You're the common denominator. You are the reason. So now just be with yourself in that. Or sometimes, right, the head and the mouth is so noisy. How the hell I can't connect? How the hell? How am I going to switch it off? There's so much noise there. There's so much judgment or criticism, or I keep listening to all these external things and I can't quiet. What then? So if you can't quiet yourself, it's because you're holding on. You're holding on to all of those things, right? You're not actually letting it go. So you can take yourself through, I call it like a brain dump, right? So sometimes the noise is so much, like I know for myself, I can get sensory overload, right? And I've got this going on and that going on and that going on and that going on, all these things going on. And then there's life things and family things and partner things and kids things and school things and dog things and car things and house things. And there's so many things, right? And you can get sensory overload. It's like, hang on, let's just do a brain dump. We have to do an actual process of getting all of this stuff out. That's the excavation. Because the clarity is not going to come through while you're clogged. And then also, the clarity is not coming through while you're excavating either. And that spiral loop is like where we then become addicted to the shiny objects. Let's try this strategy. Let's try that strategy. So, being super, super intentional with your behavior and actions is probably one of the most self control, right? You have to just have a little bit of self-control. And as much as you want to jump to the next thing or do the next thing, you're actually ignoring what's there. So whenever I'm connecting with someone with their soul purpose, it's not like I see something that they don't. When I do these soul streams, most of the time they're like, oh, I knew that. Oh, I felt that for a long. It's like I'm reminding them. And then because I've tapped in and connected to it and then I articulate it, and then it's something they already know. It's like, when you go to a psychic and you're like, just tell me all the things, I'm about to do XYZ, tell me what. And then you go and see the psychic, and then they don't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what you already knew. And then you walk away and you're like, far out, I already knew that. Why didn't I just listen? Because the answers that you seek are already there. You're just not listening. And if you can't hear them, there is some excavation. We need a brain dump. Write all that stuff out. Get it all out. until you feel clear. Like until you actually feel clear, until you go, wow, I just feel like it's a visceral feeling. You're like, oh, I actually just feel like I released all that because I expressed it, right? Because sometimes in the suppression of your expression, all that dirt is getting clogged up in your system. So sometimes it just needs a safe place to express. Following your heart and following your soul's truest calling is like it's a relationship that you build with that. And it doesn't mean things don't evolve and shift and change, but it's like you get little breadcrumbs or you get puzzle pieces. So when I learned the truth of my soul and I look back at my accounting days and everything I did in accounting and taxes and everything that I've done over the last decade as well, and I can just see how it's all part of it. Nothing is irrelevant. So then when I talk to people about money and currency and money blocks and money doesn't have an energy and money doesn't have a frequency, it's not because I'm just jumping on some bandwagon of a spiritual hype and the next cool trend and buzzwords to say. I'm actually dispelling truths based on my entire life working with money. Venus in the midhaven, it's all about money, all about money. And it was, I remember because all the things that I share with my clients is things that I've done myself to help clear that pathway. And, I apply business practices as well. And when it comes to your soul purpose and then turning it into a business, you need to be able to articulate what it is you sell in one word. And I can tell you, like all the times that we've sat in the immersions, in the calls, and I'm like, all right, tell me in one word, what do you sell? And people look at me and they're like, they can't. So if you can't even articulate what it is, how are other people going to know what it is? And I'm always, I guess, this is where I'm trying to shift the perception because I've always been the go-to tax person, right? Go to Abby, she knows tax. Go to Abby, and rightly so, because I positioned myself with my marketing and with what I was saying about tax very publicly, and for years I would say all of these things and people would say, can you do my tax? Can you do my tax? Can you do? I'm like, no, I can't. No, I'm not a tax agent. No, I'm not a tax accountant. Like I would have to constantly say that. And it's because literally I position myself for that. And I'm not the tax person, I'm the money person. And it's not just about helping people make money. I like to help people save money. I like to help people make money, save money, spend money, like whatever it is, your relationship with money, you do have one. Even though money doesn't have energy, it's dead, right? The way that money is created in our world, it's debt. It's dead. It has no frequency, it has no energy. But you have a relationship to this and you have identities that you've created around your relationship to money. So, because of that, what you do in your behavior with money, whether you have a business or not, is like you're ruled by that. So, when I come in as the money person, helping you spend money, helping you save money, helping you with that relationship to money, it's actually instead of making decisions for money, we then start making decisions for us. Because even in the tax spaces previously, I would say business owners, they're so afraid of tax that they literally will limit the amount of money they make just so they don't have to pay tax. because they're afraid of it. So something like that is you're like capping yourself. You're capping your potential because of tax. Ah, come on. Like, really? What if it was the other way around? What if you weren't ruled by money in that way? So many people, like even the decision, right? I remember I was picking my children up from school, and I seen one of the kids' friends' mums. We've interacted a few times, and she was frazzled. She was so frazzled and so fried. And I just stopped for a moment. And this is my purpose, right? This is my legacy in action. Just one moment, 1 minute with someone, presence, fried, stressed, like just and I was and she just had this one we had this one moment where she was so upset because she just dropped her son off, and we were talking about childcare, and her deep, deep desire was to not have to put her children into childcare. She just wants to be with her kids. She doesn't want to work. She's a mother. She wants to be with her children. And the pain that she was feeling of like having to do that because of money. So then I sat and questioned that of like, well, how many decisions are we all making for money because we feel we have to? That's the society that we live in, where we're ruled by this god of money and stuck in this slavery of making decisions we feel forced to make because if we don't, we're not going to have enough money to survive. And
Yeah.
that, for me, feels like my purpose of really changing that, of you making the decisions for your life and for your family because they're the decisions for you, irrespective of money. And I take it very seriously. And there's an element here of when I was in that place, right? I was bankrupt and I had no money. I had two young children. I needed to get a job, go back into the workforce. I was excavating a lot of stuff. I didn't even feel like I could fully give myself in work. It was that heavy, but I was in survival. And the thing that was missing was my sole purpose. But because I went on this spiritual awakening journey, I then uncovered that. And I saw, like, I left accounting, but then I went back to it, but I went back to it in a completely different way. So these breadcrumbs that you pick up throughout your life, they're not completely irrelevant. There's things that you've learned up until this moment that are part of your soul purpose. There's also things that you've done that are not part of it. And you'll know because when you're on path and when you're on mission, it's life-giving, right? Your soul purpose has a currency, not money, currency. It has a current, right? It has a voltage, it has a charge. So if you want to detach from the systems and the structures of money that's been created in this false matrix and realign to a current value of charge and service in this world that can result in a byproduct of money, let's be real, right? This is where your soul purpose holds the key because the soul purpose, that charge is life-giving. It gives you energy, it gives you power. And as we come full circle, In business, there are times where you need that power because that power that your soul purpose gives you, that meaning, that drive, that passion, that love is what gets you through the times where you don't feel like you have much power. And when I look back on all the challenges that I've faced in my business and in my purpose and in my legacy and in my organizations and in the work that I do in this world, the number one driving force that's kept me going is because the fact that it's my legacy, the fact that it's my sole purpose, and actually it chose me. I didn't choose it. I just learned to articulate what it was and then co-create with my soul around that. When you learn to articulate your soul purpose and then you have that kind of aha, you then can look back on all the things that you thought that you were doing were wrong and go, oh, that it wasn't wrong. It was just I was making it look a certain way and not bringing it in under the umbrella of my soul purpose. And actually, when I reconnect it back in, I can see how this is an extension of my soul purpose. So then when you go and do that work, you have a little bit more fulfillment in it because it feels like a puzzle piece that is part of the bigger picture. So people, they're like, it's like they're going around and collecting all these puzzle pieces. And I think some people, they're trying to collect pieces of other people's puzzle. I'm such a firm believer in being fully responsible and autonomous for your own livelihood, right? And I feel that when you are responsible and autonomous and you start collecting the puzzle pieces of your own life, of your own soul, and we like pick this one over here and we pick this one over here and then we get this one and we put them together. Now, you might not have all of the puzzle pieces, but you've got enough pieces to go, ooh, I can start to see a bit of a picture here. And that's enough because when I first learned my soul purpose, do you think Spirit came and said, Hey, Abby, this is it? Here it is on a silver platter. Actually, I only got the smallest little drop and it was drip fed to me. I think cosmic currency first landed in 2018, right? And I've been so patient and devoted to it that there are times where it's like completely off the table, right? And there's nothing, I'm busy. But then there's other times it'll let, so, oh, here it is. Okay, this is part of it. Let's go, right? So you have to be patient because these pieces will be drip fed. If I knew then what I know now, I can guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt I would have, if I learnt that then, I would have sat on my hands and said, fuck no, I'm not signing up for that. I'm not doing that. No, thank you. I'm gonna do something else. And I probably would have chosen something else. Had I have known then what I know now, I would have behaved differently. So, spirit, soul, my legacy only gave me enough information to help me within my own free will make the decisions and guide myself along that journey, which led me to the I wouldn't even say it's still not even complete. I'm not complete, but I feel I've completed a huge cycle. I feel complete. I feel completion. And going into next year, super excited. I've already mapped out the whole year. We're good to go. I don't vision board. I actually map out my year. If you are a business owner and you want to do a vision board, get a calendar. You want to anchor your results for next year, maybe I'll do a workshop on that. But I just feel like Everyone wants the answers. Just give me the answers. Just, Abby, give me the strategy. Just tell me the next thing. Or, you know, and it's all, everyone's trying to get it because they want money. And I have to just keep saying it. I'll scream it from the rooftops if I have to. It's not the point. Forget about money. Forget about money. The more you're making your decisions driven for money, the less you are going to be able to connect to your soul purpose because your soul ain't got nothing to do with that. Now, some people, they come to me, they align and they make money, right? They make bulk money and they're like, "Ew, thanks, Abby." Right? Some people come to me and they like, oh shit, humble, and things are stripped away and maybe they don't make any money. And then they realize, oh, I actually didn't want that money to begin with. And this is where my sweet spot is. And we just find that beautiful little place of sweetness where you just get to be in the essence of you. Not everyone's here to mass global scale multi-million dollar like some of the most um some of the most powerful work that I've seen on the planet is happening just at this tiny small little scale in a pocket of Victoria with a group of three people that just, you know, but you can't discount that because the ripple effect of those three people doing those things that then go and branch out to the next, like to families and to other people. And it's like, we're in the time of change and it's not what you think it is. And even just that hour conversation that you have with that beautiful client or that, customer that completely can shift their trajectory because of one thing that you said. That's the legacy. It's exactly what's happened, but it's what happens for you too, right? It's what happens, right? It's through this relationship that we have to self and to others and in service. That's what puts money in the bank. That's what puts money in the bank. And I get so lit up and excited because when I talk to people about this and I go, oh, you could do this and you could do that, and then we could do this, and we're gonna like full of ideas. I love it. I'm a visionary. I'm full of ideas. But when we laser focus and we pick one of those ideas and it feels fucking good, and then we go, all right, now let's give it the space and the time. You got to birth this and not just birth it because it's a brilliant idea and go, oh, well, just because I thought of a program, now it exists. Right? One of my clients, we spent 12 months mapping out a very comprehensive program, blood, sweat, tears. So now when she goes to market, she fully can articulate that. And it's a digital asset. It's an online digital asset. It's not something she wrote on a napkin and go, I'm just going to run a 6-week course and then like flounder her way through that. Creating real world solutions through your business connected to soul. That's what I'm all about. Real world solutions, brick and mortar business, because it's the brick and mortar business that has impact that is going to last generations. People just want all the shiny things. And I think, when I have released previous episodes, I'm really trying to drill the message in of why money has no energy and why it has no value. And it's because the value comes from you. And you can alchemize that value in the physical when you're connected to your soul purpose. When you go beyond businesses, just having a business to make money. right? When we go beyond just having a business to make money, and we then go, well, I'm going to have a business because I want to make an impact. I'm going to have a business because I want to help people. A lot of people go into business with passion, but then they get their all the stress of running a business then clouds that passion. And then when you're not even breaking even, and then there's stress, and then couples fight. Like, this is why business metrics help, because couples don't fight over money. Like, money's not the reason they're fighting. There's reasons underlying that. Money is just the band-aid on the top. You got to rip that one off, and what's actually going on underneath. So, between the practical business metrics and really aligning your cash flow, but then aligning to your soul's purpose, this is how you get money in the bank. And it's not a quick fix. It's not an overnight. It's not a I'm not about that. I'm not about that at all. It's very integrated, embodied business decisions for a very deep reason. Just finding a nice, gentle, sweet spot that you can leverage. Because that's what it is. Business is leverage, leveraging your skills, your talents, your gifts, your passions, your love, and putting it into your business.
Yeah.
So when you speak from your skills, your passions, your loves, your talents, and you serve from that place, it's truth. You're serving from truth, and that is the highest vibration. That's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, and I will be back here next week with some more magic.